Oh, Canada used to be our quiet upstairs neighbor who never seemed to cause any trouble, even though you're almost exactly like us. Now look at you, as chaotic as the rest of us, making the news for all kinds of embarrassing or sometimes actually serious reasons. But luckily, today's news from Canada is just stupid, hopefully inconsequential, and is so far a great example of the younger generation being far less reactionary and, in this case, far more understanding of whether or not a person's life outside of work has anything to do with their performance in their job. This case in particular, it has to be the dumbest excuse for trying to get someone fired that we've heard of in a while, because local parents in Ontario came together to start a petition that aimed to remove a high school principal from their position because they listened to heavy metal music like Iron Maiden. These parents are very up on the times of the heavy metal music.
You know what? Fuck it. We got the anti-vaxxers. We've got the critical race theory people. Why not do a little satanic panic round 2?
Yeah.
It's been 30 years.
Well, that's what's funny is it's like, okay, the Lil Nas X video and the blood shoes and all that, it's like, sure, that is created by...
provocative.
On purpose to anger parents and get this kind of reaction. Iron Maiden
plays on the classic rock radio station.
Yes, literally, if you turned on just the radio in Canada, it'd be like, "Hey, here you go. Here's some classic rock for you."
So yeah, I mean, this is insane for any number of reasons, but it really spills over into being absolutely ridiculous because it's specifically related to a band that was maybe shocking and edgy at their peak in the 1980s, but is pretty tame by today's standards.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Doesn't even go that hard, really, compared to the metal music they're making today.
Well, I was even trying to think of something modern that would be a comparison, but like, there's not a lot of like, at least in my opinion, like, and good, shocking metal music that's happening now. Like, you think about like Cradle of Filth, but that was like 90s into the early 2000s. Dimmy Borgir, like, I guess Burzum for the wrong reasons. But there's so many things where it's just like, okay, so she likes classic rock, this principal.
Yeah.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
It's the year 2021. And conservative parents are apparently still falling for the satanic panic of the 1980s. And what's even weirder about this is that you would have to assume that the parents of these high school age kids were kids themselves or teenagers back when bands like Iron Maiden were being vilified for spreading a satanic message. And yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, like these, because when you, even me, who like, it's hard for me to like sometimes realize my own age, because when I hear like the parents of high schoolers, I have friends that I graduated from high school with who have kids in high school now.
Yeah, that'd be like someone our age, like with little kids, telling them they can't read Harry Potter because it's dark-sided.
Yeah,
I'm sure those people exist, but it's
like
strange.
Parents of high schoolers, like I would say on average are probably in their mid-40s. Like this isn't like someone in their 70s being like, you know, that Iron Maiden's gonna rot your brain.
Yeah, you were there.
Yes,
the hell,
you lived it.
And yeah, if you thought that this protest went any deeper than that, well, you're wrong. Parents are actually upset enough about this high school principal listening to heavy metal that they want her fired over it.
And at the very least, this makes some sense because the high school in question, it appears to have been founded as a religious school, but at some point it became a public school.
Okay.
So it is a public school in Canada, so it's not like it is a religious academy or a Christian school in and of itself, like a private school where only Christian parents
So if
pay
this
for
is
their
a
kids to
religious
go.
school in Canada, hey, if you parents are looking for a controversy, maybe direct your attention away from your principal's music taste out to that grassy field next to your school, which is probably just riddled with Native American bodies, if you know anything about Canadian religious schools.
Yeah.
That's a more relevant thing probably right now.
Yeah. But yeah, this school apparently still includes some programs that are privately funded specifically for religious purposes.
Okay.
It's a little confusing. And look, we're not locals, obviously. We're not in this
Hey, why don't
area
you mind your own business?
I wish those Americans would stop putting their nose where it don't belong.
Stop sticking your neck over the northern border of your country and focus on your own problems, all right?
Yeah, so
Take off.
We're not sure how much the religious overtones there actually dictate school policy, but it sounds like it still carries at least a little bit of weight. But here's some reporting from The Independent. Guardians of students at a high school in Canada's Ontario province have started a petition to remove the principal, who is a fan of heavy metal music, because of the satanic symbols involved. Signed by over 500 people, the petition by parents of Eden High School in St. Catharines demanded the removal of Principal Sharon Burns after she posted pictures on her social media account showing her support for British metal legends Iron Maiden.
God damn it. The petition, titled Eden High School Principal Sharon Burns Needs to be Transferred Immediately, reads in part, as concerned parents with impressionable children at Eden High School, we are deeply disturbed that the principal assigned to the school blatantly showed satanic symbols and her allegiance to satanic practices on her public social media platforms where all the students can see them under @EdenPrincipal, not her personal account. Our school is based on inclusion, and openly displaying satanic symbols on a public social media platform that directly goes against the principles of the vast majority of families who represent the school is not inclusive. As parents, we are demanding her transfer to another school. Please replace her with another principal who aligns with the values of the families at Eden and will not sabotage the teaching or upholding of those values and will not try to introduce impressionable students to satanic practices or symbolism. We'll provide more pictures if you have more questions. You can also see the blatant display of the 666 symbolism in a screenshot of her post in comments below. We can only put one picture in this campaign. Additional reporting adds that Burns doesn't hide her love for metal music and even describes herself as being fueled by metal and ska and chickens. What?
Now Bruce Green's going to be on the case, and he is going to make sure that this school principal stays in her position.
School principal listening to metal, I sleep. School principal listening to ska. Hold on.
Real shit.
I don't want my kids anywhere near this person.
And she probably knows that ska came before reggae. So.
She's endangering all her kids when she walks down the hall skanking and whatnot. There's not enough room for that.
At least the parents didn't get a hold of the idea of calling her a skank.
My kid has terrible vision, and wearing all those checkerboard patterns is giving him headaches in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But it sounds like it was written by the lady who found the monster can to be satanic.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best videos.
You see right here. It's so good. She
Yes.
she really put in a lot of work to her absolute batshit quack theory about Monster Energy being a vessel for the Dark Lord Satan.
Some old people get a job greeting people at Walmart. Some people
get a little more
dissect the
creative,
symbolism in the Monster Energy cans. So anyways, that petition, as we said before, it garnered just over 500 signatures before the entire thing was dropped once the news picked this up. And after a counter petition was launched by the student body, who apparently loves their heavy metal principal, which is, look, I've been out of school for a long time. I keep saying this, but back when I was in school, we didn't really like our principals.
Yeah,
so this is a glowing review.
Even if I thought the whole reasoning behind this was stupid, I would probably be like, yeah, get rid of him. I hate my principal.
Yeah.
Because I'm a child.
Yeah,
and
this is awesome.
And principals represent authority.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so the fact that they're actively, they're taking the principal's side against the parents, it's a pretty big deal.
The opposing petition, simply titled, "We Need Mrs. Burns," it has over 20,000 signatures at the time that we filmed this, and it lays out a plea to these short-sighted parents, asking them to come to their senses. Recently, there has been a petition going around to remove the principal of Eden High School. It is ridiculous that a couple of parents only judge her role as a principal only based on an Instagram post about liking the band Iron Maiden. That's it. Eden High School is a public school, not a Christian school. If you somehow don't like the principal of your child, grandchild, relatives, etc. school, then send them to another one. The principal has made so many efforts to remind students that Eden is a diverse place. She has even turned a whole room into a prayer room for students who are practicing religions other than Christianity, like practicing Islam.
Or Wicca.
That might be one of the reasons why these parents are actually upset and looking for reasons to get her removed.
Yeah.
She put in a mosque inside this high school.
Yeah. Only 2,000 miles away from ground zero. It's too close.
Yeah. We are right next to New York
It's
State.
basically a ground zero mosque.
Yeah. She has made Eden a safe space for so many people. She spreads nothing but love and kindness and is probably one of the best and most enthusiastic principals the school has ever had. If you would like to bring some light to this whole petition, please consider signing. Again, this is all so stupid, and we are at least glad that it appears as though the parents were widely mocked enough that there's no actual consideration being made against the job of Mrs. Burns. But after reading the students' petition, methinks there's a lot more going on here that the parents are mad about than Iron Maiden.
I think they were just looking for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, my kid likes their principal more than they like me. They're fucking asshole parents.
Who hate heavy metal music.
Yeah.
So.
The kids come home and we put on old records from the
20s.
40s. And that's it. Not even the fucking Beatles. That's gonna make the kids
because they said they were bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they were,
It drives the girls nuts.
Mm-hmm. No Elvis, none of that pelvis, Elvis the pelvis, none of that.
Too much shaking hips, too much gyration.
Ed Sullivan ruined music.
Wait till these parents get around to finding out about literally, like, well, I guess Marilyn Manson's bad for another reason now, but like 90s metal and stuff like that, they're going to be really upset when a principal who's even slightly a generation behind this one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's the stuff in the 70s and 80s is so tame compared to compared to like so much of the shit.
This principal listens to Black Sabbath. Oh, can you believe it? Meanwhile, like Ozzy's walking around barely like incomprehensible.
Shut. Anyways, in equally insane news that you're all probably aware of by now. We mentioned this last week, but William Shatner is actually going to space in real life thanks to Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin.
Hey, Bozo.
Who is setting him up in their rocket, which will make him the oldest person ever in space. He's 90, 91. He's old as hell. We reported on this in recent episodes, but it looks like the launch date has shifted a bit, and Shatner won't make his historic trip to space until one day later.
Yeah.
This Wednesday, October 13th.
Unless something else changes, but because we are hours away at this point.
Yeah. Now you might be asking yourself, why is any of this happening? Why are we sending celebrities into space? Simply because they have even the slightest connection to it, because they were in a television series that took place in space decades ago. Does William Shatner even want to go to space? Has he been bullied into this? Is this elder abuse?
Did Bezos even ask him?
Yeah.
You're going. Big deal.
So, I mean, yeah, obviously, all this is marketing, because after their first successful mission, the public attention will start to wane. They got to keep upping the stakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you already sent a teenager and the world's richest man and his brother and an old lady. So why would anyone watch another launch unless you give it the old razzle-dazzle?
Yeah, that's fun.
Send William Shatner up to boldly go where several hundred people have already
We're going to send Walt Disney's frozen head to space.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go from here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like JoJo Siwa. Hey, kids, you all know JoJo Siwa, right?
She's going to do one of her cool dances, but in zero-G.
We're going to send her and Lil Nas up into space. That's it. And they're going to dance in zero gravity for a little bit. And that principal who likes Iron Maiden.
Yeah, we're going to send the Iron Maiden principal up to space.
Yeah.
The first Canadian in space.
One of the most famous astronauts is Canadian.
That's
pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Chris Hadfield.
Yeah.
I mean,
that man did great work.
By entering the space station, he technically became American. So by my count, there's never been a Canadian in space.
Technically the first vlogger in space, too, because he started doing vlogs in space.
Yeah, with a lot of help from his son back down on Earth.
And with a little bit of help from his friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, as for Shatner himself, it appears as though he definitely wants to go, or at least wanted to, because, in theory, sounds fun, right? Let's go to space.
Yeah.
He might also be having second thoughts about the whole thing as the clock ticks closer to actual liftoff.
Oh, God.
I agreed to this?
Jesus Christ. Is this even safe?
And look, hey, this is completely understandable.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, I'm down to go to space. Wouldn't it be cool to float around and do something that very few people will ever get to experience? And it's another thing to finally face the day that you're going to be sitting on top of a rocket being shot into fucking space.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so during an appearance at New York Comic Con this past weekend, Shatner, he commented on his upcoming trip, and here's Deadline's reporting of the conversation.
My friend Jason Ehrlich came to me about a year and a half ago, and he said he was seeing these rockets with people going into space. And wouldn't it be something if Captain Kirk went up there? And I said, Jason, for God's sake, man, nobody cares if Captain Kirk goes to space. It was 55 years ago, man. But I'm doing well. Maybe I should go up to space. About a year passed due to COVID before a real conversation took place about Shatner following Jeff Bezos' historic trip to space. It was announced last week that the actor will explore the final frontier for real on Bezos' Blue Origin space flight, becoming the oldest person to go to space. Quote, I don't want to be the oldest guy to go into space, the 90-year-old exclaimed to the roaring cloud. I do not want to be. Why did I say yes about this?
You ever say yes to something and then you kind of regret it when the time comes? It's like on a much smaller, on a scale that is so much smaller that it boggles the mind, is like when you make plans and then you're like, oh, this Friday I have to go out and do this thing. Yeah. I really wish someone would cancel so that I have an excuse to not do it. But this is
I gotta go to space.
Except going to space.
Oh, come on.
I wish Jeff Bezos would cancel on me so I don't look like the asshole.
Yeah.
Like, he must have been so relieved when it got delayed. And he's like, oh, it got delayed. By how much?
Yeah.
24 hours?
He should have pulled the Larry David trick from, I can't remember which season of Curb it was, but you show up the day before. Oh, it was tomorrow. Well, we can't do tomorrow, but now, great to see you guys. Anyway, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah. So, in theory, this might not actually happen because Shatner might not show up. He might just ghost Jeff Bezos.
That would be the ultimate alpha Captain Kirk move. Just ghost Jeff Bezos.
I decided instead to just do nothing.
Yeah.
Anyways, the article continues. While discussing his trip to Texas in preparation for his October 12th space flight, Shatner recalled the 1986 Challenger crash that killed all the astronauts on board.
Yeah.
He said the people in charge of his flight repeatedly said everything should be fine, which wasn't much of a comfort for the actor. Quote, and I'm thinking, I'm going up in a rocket, and our best guess is it should be fine, he shared. I'm terrified. I'm Captain Kirk, and I'm terrified. I'm not really terrified. Yes, I am. It comes and it goes like a summer cold. I'm planning on putting my nose against the window once I'm in space, and my only hope is I won't see something else looking back.
Oh, that's another even older William Shatner reference to that Twilight Zone episode with the monster on the wing.
Yeah, there's a gremlin unscrewing bolts of the...
At least he plans on looking out, because the craziest thing about that first launch was everyone was just hanging out inside being like, hey, look at us. It's like,
Skittles.
Look out the fucking window. What are you doing?
You're in space,
You're in
goddammit.
fucking space. And you're just throwing Skittles in each other's mouths.
I mean, so much could go wrong here. He's 90. He's not exactly in amazing shape, although, look, for 90,
I'd say
just living to 90 is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
I think the average age for males to live is like 75 or something.
Yeah, he's got his mental faculties. He's in decent physical shape for someone at 90.
his age, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. This seems like an unnecessary risk.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. It's there's no reason for this. Like, and honestly, there's no reason for any of this fucking commercial space flight that everyone's just gotten into in the past 6 months. It accomplishes nothing. There's no point to it other than tourism for extremely rich people.
And morbidly, the only real interest in it is that something might go wrong. Because they're already doing this all the time. It's just the fact that you're putting celebrities on it who might die.
Yeah.
It's like a NASCAR race. It's kind of boring until the crash happens. Sorry, but
They should send Dale Earnhardt Jr. up on the Blue Origin rocket.
Yeah.
See if he can beat the odds.
I mean, there's really no other reason to send celebrities into space who clearly aren't even that interested in it.
Yeah, this is dumb. This is
Anyways,
a waste of money.
We won't have to wait long to see if Shatner actually goes through with it because the launch is now currently scheduled to take place Wednesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific or 9:30 a.m. Eastern.
It's pretty early.
And despite our insistence that these missions are just an obscene use of wealth and status that may or may not provide any benefits to society as a whole, we do still hope that Bezos doesn't accidentally kill Captain Kirk.
Yeah. And William Shatner, not even that good of a dude. Kind of a dick for his whole career. But I don't want him to die in a space-related accident. That would be fucked up.
That'd be horrible. Horrible.
Don't kill Captain Kirk, Jeff Bezos.
But I can't get past that the only reasoning for this is that it'll get more people to watch because they're putting the lives of celebrities at risk.
Yeah.
So anyways, good luck, Mr. Shatner. We do not want anything bad to happen, and I hope this is an amazing success, and he comes back and he was like, hey, that rocked. Anyways, off to the Phoenix Comic-Con to sign more autographs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. What are you going to do now that you've gone to space? I'm going to go to Albuquerque and sign pop figurines.
Yeah. The only thing that keeps me alive is just going from con to con.
Look, it's an active lifestyle that probably does keep him alive.
It is. If he stopped, he would die real quick. That's the thing about getting old. People
you have to have a routine.
Time to retire, and then dead because you're not doing shit.
Your body's wait.
You're letting your body fester.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you move to the villages and pick up tennis.
That's right.
Yeah.
And chicks.
Anyways, yeah.
Moving on now. Surprise! More Squid Game news. You see, at this point, you just have to watch it. I haven't yet. But I
finished it.
But I have to.
Yeah.
Because the entire world is carrying on as if everyone has already seen it. And despite this news not having too much to do with the show itself, it is directly related to it. And at face value, it seems like a horrific idea. Squid Game will become a reality. And Abu Dhabi will be hosting its own very real Squid Game competition soon.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, so if you have seen the show, you will instantly know that this sounds bad. And if you haven't, this isn't really a spoiler. It's literally the basis of the entire show, but we do have to say it anyway, because otherwise This news wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't understand why this is so horrific.
Yeah.
In the show Squid Game, people who are poor or down on their luck or cast aside from society compete in challenges that are typically silly kids games, but ones that result in horrific deaths for those who lose.
Yes.
Players are eliminated when they die or are killed by their fellow competitors. Not very lighthearted stuff.
No. And now a real-life version of Squid Game. It's going to be taking place in the United Arab Emirates, though it will obviously not be life or death like the television series, at least not the one that they're showing to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Because this might be a thing that actually happens.
Yeah, this is it. It seems like something the sheiks, the royal family of the UAE and the other Arab nations.
Everyone that
might
touched
be
that
into.
globe in the picture with Trump.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are all fucking freaks, especially their kids, because they all have like 100 kids, and the ones that aren't like directly in line for power, but are still just
Obscenely wealthy.
well. Like every couple of years it comes out that one of them's just like literally a psychopath going around killing people.
Yeah.
And getting away with it because they can.
Well,
so
this one is nobody's going to get killed on purpose. Someone could slip and fall and hit their head. Very serious injury. Could happen.
complete accident. Oh no.
Damn, this fell again. Anyways, it's still a weird thing for everyone involved to promote in such a fun way. Because the show, it's not a fun show.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get.
Yeah, but here's the scoop from Insider. Fans of the wildly popular Squid Game series on Netflix in Abu Dhabi may be given a chance to experience a real-life Squid Game, sans the murder and bloodshed.
Well, then what's the point?
The Korean Cultural Center in the United Arab Emirates is organizing a reenactment of the games seen in the Netflix series for 2 teams of 15 participants. The event is slated to be held in 2 sessions on October 12th at the center's Abu Dhabi office. The center's event page said 4 out of the 6 games seen in the Netflix series would be played during the event. And I'm not going to list the ones that they're doing because that would actually be a spoiler for the show. Part of the anticipation is finding out what the game's going to be. But if you have seen it, you can probably assume which events are even possible to recreate without putting people in mortal danger. So there you go.
We need to make real life Running Man.
I mean, yeah.
Real life Escape from New York. These would all be so fun.
Wouldn't it be fun? No.
Unfortunately,
We already have, what's the one called where people actually injure themselves for a prize money?
Wipeout?
Yes.
Yeah, Wipeout's fucking great.
Yeah.
I love Wipeout.
I mean, they signed up for it, just like the people in Squid Game.
Yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, no problem. And they just get fucking
Someone fucking died in Wipeout last year.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they had a heart attack. Like, either while competing
Jesus
or just
Christ.
after.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you watch that and you're like, yeah, that would fucking suck.
But I think, look, I don't know. I don't want to ruffle any executive lawsuit feathers or anything like that, but I think according to someone had a heart attack and died at the hospital,
Right.
which I think is the
Like how no one dies at Disneyland.
yeah, you get
They
carted
die-
off.
They pick up all your body parts and carry it to the hospital. Like, is he dead? Like, yeah, his head's separated from the rest of his body. He's dead. All right. But he died here, right? Just so we're clear on that.
Yes. Don't check his pulse.
0 deaths at Disneyland. No one has ever died here.
So that's the thing is a incident related to competing on the show Wipeout resulted in a heart attack that resulted in someone dying, I think.
All right. Well,
So
I'll be checking our mailbox for the lawsuit.
yeah.
So unfortunately, the prize in these games will not be tens of millions of dollars, but you're also not risking death by competing, so I think that's fair. Quote, instead of $38 million, each winner is expected to be given a customized green tracksuit. Sadly, there's no prize money.
Wow.
So I guess, yeah, just for the thrill of it. They add that the center's games are expected to be held in 2-hour tournament-style sessions, and the eliminated players would get to watch the rest of the games from the sidelines.
Not from heaven.
Not from... the one thing that will potentially make people uneasy while watching otherwise silly children's games will be that everyone will be in costume with guards wearing the bright pink jumpsuits and black masks with shapes on them. The director of the Korean Cultural Center added that, quote, just as K-pop gained worldwide popularity through YouTube in the 2010s, I think platforms such as Netflix would be a channel for the global spread of Korean video content such as dramas and movies. And that the event was being held to introduce Korean culture and the childhood games Koreans play to the people of the United Arab Emirates.
Which
doesn't seem like the best representation of Korean culture. You maybe just show them like barbecue or shabu shabu. Like
when children compete in games of life or death chance in Korea, and we'd like to share that message with the world.
No, I got a better idea. You get a nice charcoal grill and you put thin strips of meat on it. And it's the grill's right at the table. It cooks right in front of you.
Yeah.
You should do that instead because it's great. Everyone should have a Korean barbecue restaurant in their town.
There you go. Well, yeah. Again, I think that sharing at the very base level the games that Korean children play without the attachment to the show where people will fucking die if they lose, that's probably fine. But it is a weird thing to latch on to be like, welcome to the cultural representation of our country, where playing children's games will get you murdered. Yeah. And we pick these people based on their status in society and whether or not they have massive debts.
Oh, Korea. I love Korea. It's the country where the poor people get killed in horrific ways in a game show setting. Love that country.
Mm-hmm. But hey, speaking of spooky yet theoretically fun times, Halloween in America is a go. We repeat, Halloween in America is actually happening this year, as the person at the helm of holiday approval has declared it is probably fine to go trick-or-treating this year. And yeah, we are very aware that a lot of people in this country weren't really waiting around for the go-ahead from Dr. Anthony Fauci when making plans for whether or not they'd be participating in festivities this year. But hey, he gave a thumbs up anyway.
Was anyone not trick-or-treating?
That's what I'm wondering.
We live in fucking LA, and I gave away so much candy last year. Like, I was literally not aware that the kids were not supposed to be trick-or-treating.
That's another Larry David move. I didn't know.
I didn't know. And I remember last year.
No, I didn't have any.
Oh, no. Last year, I figured it might be like toned down a little bit, but I think we filmed an episode like that evening and I was driving home and like the streets of my neighborhood were just like flooded with fucking families and kids trick-or-treating. So
last year it wasn't okay, Elliot. You technically broke the law, but we're going to look past it.
I guess we all did.
You technically looked past it, or technically broke the law. We're going to look past it.
Why would it be a problem?
I don't know.
You're not like going into people's houses.
That's the thing, was like last year people were doing like there was like the dumbest shit online. Like you'd see a guy who put like Hot Wheels tracks from his window all the way down to the street. And if someone would ring, he'd like drop a Milky Way and it would slide out to their bag so they wouldn't have to like face the children and get the germs.
That's so extra. Come on.
Well, and look, and you're saying like even in LA, it was not a big deal. So I'm sure in other parts of the country, they haven't taken it seriously at all. This was never an issue.
I don't think anybody had canceled their trick-or-treating plans.
But it's like earlier in the year when everyone's like, oh, Fauci said it's okay to have a barbecue. Thanks, Fauci.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that where he's just like, look, it's fine. Go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's CBS News.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, offered some peace of mind. Quote, I think that particularly if you're vaccinated, you can get out there and enjoy it, he said. During an appearance on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, Fauci gave the green light to trick-or-treating, noting that it's an outdoor activity where there's less of a risk of infection. Yeah, that's what I think.
What everyone assumed, yeah.
Quote, this is a time that children love. It's a very important part of the year for children, he said. He also said families should enjoy the other holidays that are coming up, but stressed the importance of being vaccinated to add an extra degree of protection to yourself and your children and your family and your community. I mean, yeah, like Thanksgiving is like the real killer because everyone's like...
all grouped up in one room.
It's fucking cold. All the windows are closed. You got like a bunch of people from like across the state and the country gathered close together in a room with like just shoveling food in their mouths. Like, yeah, that's a problem. And clearly last year you saw like
a huge spike.
A huge fucking spike. But like Halloween, I'm kind of shocked this is even news. Like I just assume everyone's like, well, yeah, you're walking around outdoors. Someone answers the door, like it's
you masks are implied.
Yeah, you're literally like masked up already. Yeah, this is funny.
Well, yeah, no, it's just great. It was just like a ridiculous headline to see like, don't worry, everyone. Fauci said it's fine to go trick-or-treating.
I mean, there probably are weirdos out there who like base everything in their lives on what Anthony Fauci has to say. And I mean,
yeah,
whatever. We all live by a code.
There's definitely lots of people out there who are fully vaccinated and everything and still not doing anything, like complete hermits.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like immunocompromised,
I totally get it.
There's plenty of decent reasons for it. But yeah, at a certain point, like if you're vaccinated, you're pretty much You're pretty much in the clear. But
look, we're living normally.
You do what you want.
Yeah, it's on you. Anyways, another good news. 2 men who were lost at sea for an entire month.
I fucking love this.
They were not only rescued after being able to survive.
Send us back.
Yeah, survive that long. But upon returning to safety, also said the experience was a really nice break from reality. From Vice, 2 men who spent 29 days lost at sea in the South Pacific were rescued some 400 kilometers from their point of origin earlier this month, having drifted all the way from their native Solomon Islands to the waters off the coast of Papua New Guinea. The two were in a small motorboat that got turned around because of bad weather. They eventually stopped the engine to save fuel and just float whichever way the storm took them.
Jesus Christ. Continues. For the first 9 days, the men sustained themselves on oranges they'd packed for the trip. Then for the 20 days that followed, they lived off of coconuts. Anytime they saw coconuts floating in the sea, they'd start the boat's engine and retrieve them, cutting them open using their anchor and a small axe. They used a piece of canvas to trap rain for drinking water, and after several days built a makeshift mast and sail using paddles and canvas and traveled following the direction of the wind. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's totally awesome.
After 29 days adrift, Nankianja and Coloni finally spotted a fisherman off the coast of New Britain, Papua New Guinea. They were brought ashore and 2 weeks of walk carried into the town of Pomio on October 2nd. Quote, "We didn't know where we were, but did not expect to be in another country." While he described the event of becoming stranded as scary, however, Nankijana also suggested that his and Coloni's month at sea was, if nothing else, a nice break from the daily reality of a global pandemic and a good way to get away from it all. Quote, "I had no idea what was going on while I was out there. I didn't hear about COVID or anything else," he said. "I look forward to going back home, but I guess it was a nice break from everything."
Honestly, good for them.
Yeah, resourceful guys.
Yeah, surprisingly resourceful.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they couldn't even walk by the end of it means it was probably a good time to get rescued.
Yeah, they were days away from dying probably, yeah.
But the fact that they managed to live a whole month at sea where you don't even have like fresh water, food, also in the middle of like fucking nowhere too, like Papua New Guinea.
I'm surprised
Solomon
they found
Islands.
coconuts out there. They had to be somewhere within, like,
Well, it's like that.
miles and miles, not hundreds of miles away, because coconuts.
Well, yeah, that the South Pacific is full of just like tiny islands
Yeah, true.
where like you might find land, but it doesn't mean you're in the clear.
They're only dodocumented because we bombed the shit out of them in World War II to test everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, good for them, and I think it's awesome that they're like inadvertently were able to escape reality, but also a damning review of reality in general.
Yeah.
I'd rather be trapped on a fucking dinghy in the middle of the South Pacific for a month than have to hear about COVID again.
Yeah.
Oh, Fauci said we can go trick-or-treating? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, anytime this guy's like wife complains about it, I'm going, I'll do it.
I'll do it again. I've already done it once.
I'm gonna go fill up the tank and just
See you later.
head straight, see what happens.
Yeah. And I'll live off coconuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it once. I'll do it again.
And delicious mandarin oranges.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyways, that's it for today's episode. Please stay tuned. We're going to have another Tech News Day coming up. And if you missed it somehow, we have 2 other episodes that went up last week. We have a Weekly Weird News about the identity of
the Zodiac
Killer. And then in News Dump. And check both of those out. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.